East Tennessee State University student Tristan Rettke was arrested this week and was charged with civil rights intimidation following an incident where he was walking around with a gorilla mask and handing out bananas to students with a rope in his hand while students were lawfully and civilly protesting for Black Lives Matter. Now, Grant Madison, a junior at the university, told USA Today, "He passed by me and handed me a banana. I snatched it out of his hand. I knew what he was trying to say, but I wasn't going to try to retaliate against him." And then he goes on to say, "As younger black folks, we don't always see the same overt displays of racism our parents may have experienced or our grandparents. But for me, this was the first time I've experienced something so blatantly disrespectful and racist." Now, the university president, Brian Nolan, has come out with a statement where he expressed grief and he was saddened by the incident. He said, "We are exceptionally proud of the students who were peacefully participating in the event and the manner in which they exercised restraint, thoughtfulness, and strength in the face of inappropriate and offensive behavior." So, okay, this might be a little bit of a controversial question, but I wanted to ask you. Now, Tennessee law states that you can never intimidate someone and try to stop them from civilly protesting. And there's obvious historical reasons as to why that law is passed in Tennessee specifically, right? But do you think this was trying to stop people, or do you think he was genuinely trying to intimidate people? Do you think do you think the law came in and
whether
allowed,
he should have been arrested?
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
Should he have been arrested or not?
Yeah. I'm going to vote no. He shouldn't have been arrested. So now, is he racist? I mean, I don't know how you could be more racist.
No,
right?
What do you mean? Maybe he was like, I know, but like assholes will say, "Oh, he's just being Harambe." Like he was just honoring Harambe. No, you have a rope in your hand. We all know what you're trying to say.
And he had a burlap with him. Not a lot of burlaps these days, but he had one with a Confederate flag on it.
Confederate flag, yeah.
And I was told earlier the Confederate flag doesn't necessarily mean racist. Yet here's a guy dressed in a gorilla outfit trying to hand black people bananas while having a rope with him. But no, Confederate flag isn't racist. Okay, so yeah, he's racist, but you get to be racist in this country. It's a free country. In the old days, they had these laws, as Haas alluded to, because when they're trying to cross the bridge in Selma, Alabama, they get the cops that are going to, beat them with the batons and do a charge with horses, cavalry, literally, and the dogs, etc. And so you can't intimidate protesters, and that's where the law comes from. But in this case, the protesters are larger, and he is a counter-protest, and not a very effective one. And he's like, if I'm in that protest, of course I'm super annoyed at him, but you're going to hand me a banana? I mean, I can't. That is as disrespectful as it gets. And I know some right-wingers, they think this stuff is hilarious.
Oh, I can see it. Right. Like, it's a source of potassium. He's trying to help the black people peacefully protest by offering them, vitamins.
Yeah, you see, that's kind of the point I was going to allude to as well. Is it's that sense of hilarity, right? It's this is just a movement that we can laugh at, and the same thing has been taken across the country, right? It's become a normality where college students, high school students now are laughing in the face of a Black Lives Matter movement, to the fact that in North Dakota, do you remember seeing the Snapchats of the girls in the dorm room who are posing with black face masks on, saying, "We like Black Lives Matter as well," with the little crying face emojis, and then followed up from that, we locked the black girl outside the dorm room as well. It's becoming a normality that people are starting to laugh at such adversity, where they'll pose these images thinking there's nothing to it, thinking that it's nothing that is going to put them in hot water or cause any controversy. This guy is obviously being a little bit more blatant about it and a little more blatantly racist.
I do disagree with you a little bit on there, because I feel like this sort of rampant racism has been around, especially in America, for decades. It's just kind of how the country was founded to a degree, right? And I think now with social media, we're just unmasking it.
Yeah, I agree.
No pun intended. Because of social media, because we have cameras everywhere, we get to actually see people be racist in the comfort of their own homes, within private correspondences. And it's a little tricky, but I want to ask you guys, so this is totally different than the North Dakota student that was completely just sending out a Snapchat to her friends. It doesn't excuse racism, but I don't think the way that she was reprimanded, I thought at the time when I was covering it, the way that she was reprimanded was a little disproportionate to the actions that she committed. However, in this one, I disagree with Cenk, where I think, well, he was intimidating people just because it was one person rather than the majority of people walking around and inappropriately trying to stop people from protesting doesn't change the fact that that one person is still committing that crime, and that's the beauty of the law.
Yeah, I think when you're handing people, like, physically, you're actually handing bananas across as well, and you're getting in touch with their personal space, you're crossing that line. And I think that I got to pay homage to the gentleman from the quote that we seen that said he didn't want to retaliate. That's the sort of rational thinking that is going to beat people like this. That is the sort of thinking that's going to overcome this hatred. But I do agree the fact is that they're different, I would say, examples, of course, but it's still racism. And I do agree with the other point as well, that it's always been here the same way that the police shootings that's happened is it's always, like, black people have been mistreated by police officers for decades. We just happen to see it more so now, and it makes it more real. That's why it is coming up in fruition through newspapers and everything else. But it's always been there. Racism has not been flushed out. It's just given more ways where we can receive it now through Snapchat, through images, and through these people taken to the streets.
I am going to disagree with you guys just a little bit on both those counts. So, of course, it's always been around, no question about that. But I think that people are now feel empowered to express it more. Partly because of Trump saying, like, yeah, it's okay.
Agreed.
I call Latinos rapists and criminals, and I got away with it. Hey, I might be president. And so people are like, oh, it's okay to say it now? Okay, great. Here, let's go do outrageous, crazy stuff. And partly the alt-right stuff and the stuff that's online where they think it's so funny to be incredibly mean to people, to be racist, to be sexist, and they take pride in it. So that's, like, when I was growing up, there might have been more racism, but I don't think they'd have done this because this would have seemed outrageous and insane. And they, as Hasan said, they masked it better. Now they literally put on a gorilla mask and go out there because they feel empowered. So they have made it a little bit more seen. But I'll end on why I don't think he should be arrested. I'm over the top in protecting freedom of expression. And I think as vile and hateful as that counter-protest is, I don't think that those the guys who were protesting in the first place, are really in danger, right? I mean, in the old days, the Klan would show up, they'd have ropes, that was danger, okay? This guy uses it as a prop, and he's a really bad guy, but okay, at least we know who he is now. I just don't, then you arrest him, and then everybody else feels like, oh, that's it, he's a martyr for our stupid-ass cause, and you almost give him power he doesn't deserve there. The guy shouldn't have any sympathy, and you're creating some degree of sympathy by arresting him here because But don't get me wrong, if he touched anybody, that's assault,
but
that's different.
The counterpoint is if there was more than one person and he got away scot-free and then that allowed other people to feel like, oh, well, he's doing it and he's fine.
I know,
I totally see that.
But we let the Klan march in America because it's America. They have freedom of speech too.
Yeah.
Shoot, now the Klan is marching and saying just saw the story today. Again, David Duke, former Grand Wizard, saying Trump's our guy. Awesome. So they're marching all over the place these days.
Do you maybe monitor them though? Do you maybe take this into insight when you're looking into cases of violence going around? Like the fact is that more and more people, as you mentioned, it becomes a normality not just to voice which side you're on, but to take action for which side you're on. So do you monitor something like that?
No, I wouldn't monitor them either. Then we're going to get into profiling and monitoring and
surveillance state. And
so
then black
if a black person did this on the opposite side, right, and maybe was going around in an All Lives Matter protest and was trying to display their actions so much so that they were intimidating,
running around with a burning cross,
with the burning cross. But then, like, would you think they would be monitored? That they'd be looked into?
Yeah, look, if a Muslim guy did it, would he be monitored? Of course, but I'm against the monitoring. So look, it would be different if he touched them at all and it was physical, then it's assault, no question. And it would certainly be different if he brought a weapon. But he brought a banana. That makes him a jackass. I don't think it makes him a criminal.
Did you guys know that we are only accountable to our members? These are the people that help keep our show independent and help prevent us from getting censored from corporate interests. If you want to help keep TYT independent, just go to tytnetwork.com/join and become a member.